And I have said, if Kawhi Leonard in 2.5, 3 months is holding up a trophy, is holding up the championship trophy, he's a top 10 player in the league all time. I'm going to say it today. He's a top 5 player. He's a top 5 player of all time. If he wins this year, he's one of the 5 best players in league history. MJ, LeBron, Magic, Kareem, Kawhi.
Hell to the no, hell to the no, to the no.
You know what the headline would be if Kawhi Leonard wins his 3rd championship on his 3rd different team and his 3rd finals MVP?
Which, by the way, nobody's ever
He's
done.
entering the GOAT conversation. Inject his name in the GOAT conversation.
You're going there.
Yeah, yes.
To the no, to the no, to the no.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Courtside Convo with me, Meds. And again, as always, if you've been enjoying the content, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment in the video. Help support the channel so I can bring you guys more content. Today we're going to be talking about Kawhi Leonard, and if he wins this year, is he going to be in the top 5 or top 10 list, as some people have been saying?
Defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger?
I actually really like Kawhi Leonard's game. I like the fact that he's a quiet assassin and he gets the job done on both ends of the court. He's actually improved quite a lot since the first championship he won with the San Antonio Spurs, and it's been quite impressive to watch him mature from being a role player to being the main man on the team. I think working out with Kobe definitely helped him. But in terms of making a top 5 or a top 10 list, I have to set the bar very high, and there's a few things we need to address. Look, he hasn't finished his career in the NBA yet. We have to see what he does with the rest of his time in the NBA. Because frankly, right now, as of yet, he's not even top 10. Now that doesn't mean he can't get there. People are putting him in these type of categories very, very prematurely. The analysts and presenters and people who talk about basketball really need to stop just using one category or 2 categories to put someone in these lists. You can maybe put Kawhi in certain top 10 lists based on specific achievements that he's had, but in terms of overall, there's no way you can put him in these categories yet or in these lists yet. You gotta understand, again, I'm gonna say that this bar is gonna be set so high based on the people that are already in that list. It's going to be hard to knock some of those players off. There's still a few flaws in his game that we can't really overlook. For example, his scoring rate isn't the same as any of the other players that are on that list, to be honest.
Do you know where Kawhi Leonard ranks in NBA history in points? I'll answer it for you. You don't, because no one does, because the rankings only go through 250, and he ain't in the top 250, Colin.
So scoring's it? But I don't think scoring's that big of a deal.
Now, I'm definitely not saying scoring is the end and be all, but it definitely is an important part of making that top 10 list or top 5 list. He's not that much of a good playmaker, and he doesn't really make the players around him much better. Now, he has gotten a little bit better at this over the years, but he's still not there for me personally. His tunnel vision has often hindered that. And even though a lot of people are going to bring the advanced analytics or some crazy stat, the eye test will tell you that when people are playing with him, they tend to be a little bit more stagnant, and he doesn't make players better around him. He hasn't won a regular season MVP, even though he has the finals MVPs. And altogether, there's a lot of achievements and accolades that a lot of those players in the top 10 or top 5 list have achieved that he hasn't. Yes, certain players get the stats and the championship, but at the end of the day, you still want to get excited by the players that you watch. You're always looking for that special plays that make you go regularly.
And he's 29 years old, meaning he's on a path to surpass Michael and LeBron.
Hell no, to the no. Hell to the no, hell to the no, to the no.
And you don't think he's a top 10? I'd put him right after Kareem.
To be in that elite list, you need to pass a lot of the test. Whether that's scoring, whether that's the accolades, whether that's the achievements, whether that's the championships, and also the eye test, more importantly. And also, let's not forget what you did for the game, because that's really important. If you changed something or if you brought a new dimension to the game. The one thing I definitely want to point out also, that Kawhi Leonard over the last few years has really been resting his body more than any other player I've really seen playing at that high level. Now, I understand that he's had a lot of injuries to deal with and he's had to take some time off, but the load management he's been taking over the last few years has been very excessive. Kawhi Leonard has not had the spotlight on him since he entered the NBA, which really changes your trajectory. But for someone like LeBron James or other players that are in that top list, like Kobe Bryant, for example, they've had the spotlight on them since they entered the league. So they've not really had the comfort of slowly improving and growing their game to a certain level. Luckily for Kawhi Leonard, he's had the amazing leadership of the vets on his team like Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and he's had arguably the best coach in the NBA history in Greg Popovich. And regardless of what anyone says about the rigid system that Greg Popovich has, his coaching style definitely maximizes players and gets the best out of them. And to be honest, every single team that Kawhi Leonard has gone to, he's had great teammates and he's had great coaches. Even Nick Nurse. In a way, he's had an easier journey than some because of the lack of pressure early in his career to begin with. Now everyone's talking about his finals MVPs, but the first one in 2014, I think it was with San Antonio, he actually didn't really deserve to win that one per se, because if anyone else won that MVP that year, no one would have really batted an eyelid. I know he guarded LeBron during that series and LeBron's percentage dipped a little bit, but he was still averaging 28, 8 and 4. And at that point, it was still Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker's team. So any of those guys could have won it and no one really would have said anything. Also, the second ring was great, winning for the first time for Toronto. But at the end of the day, there was no Klay Thompson or Kevin Durant playing. So it made it a lot easier for his team to get over the hump. Now, I'm definitely not taking anything away from Kawhi Leonard's achievements or his championships, but you have to understand when you're trying to make that top 10 list or that top 5 list, you have to consider a lot of the factors. I think to wrap this all up, if he wins this year, he becomes a legitimate top 20 player of all time. And it's just a matter of time to see how high he can actually climb. He's definitely solid on the offense and defensive end, but we're literally talking about making the top 5 or top 10 list. In my opinion, he'll probably never make the top 5 because even if he wins some more championships, I can't imagine who he would knock off the top 5 spot. And I think he's even going to struggle to make the top 10 list, if I'm honest. Maybe if he has a miracle like a 3-peat or something with the Clippers, that might push him into the top 10 list eventually.
I apologize.
So that's it for today, guys. And again, I hope you've enjoyed the content. Please like and comment and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, peace.